Hi guys, Tarantula90 here again and welcome back to my channel. So, for today's video I'm doing a VR to my boy Danny, otherwise known as Exploring the World of Video Games and Blu-rays, to explain my biggest gaming regrets. So for me, my biggest gaming regret is buying too many games at once. And so what I mean by that is, like, when I first started getting back into retro, I remember buying a PS1 and I bought Crash and Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that. I played them, and obviously, I had a very, very small library. And then, I bought Red, and I bought Blue, and I bought Yellow, and I had my Game Boy and stuff like that. And then when it got to December 2018, when I bought Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald and a Game Boy Advance, that's when it really kicked off. And from literally January onwards, 2019, I was obsessed with buying games. Like, any opportunity I got, I was going to buy games. And so that became a problem, not because of like anything financial or anything like that, but it was more because I had bought a lot of sequel games. And as like people back in the day would like obviously buy a game and then they'd wait for the sequel to come out and obviously they bought it. Whereas for me, because I haven't played all of these games, when I was a kid, so obviously when they were coming out in the first place, they're already, them and the original and their sequels are already readily available to me to buy, so I don't have to kind of wait for the next one to come out for a lot of these older games because they're already out. So that became a problem because what I didn't realise I was doing was kind of getting rid of the excitement that comes with that, with going out and getting the sequel. So, for example, like, one of the first times I went to Retro Games HQ in Swindon, I bought the first Resident Evil game. And, like, obviously, I hadn't played this before, very excited. I hadn't, like, completed it before, excuse me. I only ever really got as far as where you first encounter your first zombie, so, like people do when they're kids, they turn it off. But that was kind of it for me, and buying this was like, so obviously I'm going to buy all of the other Resident Evils over time. But then it got to a point where, on another visit to Retro Games HQ, I picked up the other two, and looking back at it now, I really wish I hadn't, because I hadn't played the first one to completion yet, and here I am now going, instead of saying to myself, I'm going to go and get Resident Evil 2, I've already got it. And then after this I would get the third one, but no, I bought them both at the same time. So I've kind of taken that away from me, the excitement. And as you can see behind me, and you've seen in my games room tour, I have so many games, and I've said it, and not necessarily in that respect, but more like, so many sequel games. Like, obviously I've got all the Bioshocks now, and I haven't played any of them yet. Same with Mass Effect as well. Actually, I don't think I have the third one yet, actually. So it's that kind of mindset that makes me think, well, why? Why is it that why am I buying all these sequels when I haven't even played the first game yet? It's the same with Final Fantasy, for example. So when I picked up the 7th one, this was like one of the earliest pickups I had when I first started getting into retro gaming back in the beginning of 2019. And it wasn't until the first lockdown that I actually played this. So, after I played it, it was obviously, it's impeccable. It's obviously one of the most famous games in the world. Spectacular, right? But it got to a point where, again, before I played that game, I had a trip to CEX and I got 8 and 9. And again, it's the same thing. It's like, instead of waiting to have that opportunity to go, I'm going to get this one, no, finish the 7th one, now I'm going to go look and buy this one, I already have them. I already have the sequels, so it ruins it for me that I've kind of gone, I've just kind of taken that. So rather than just go So rather than just have that, you know, it's I've kind of taken that excitement, I've taken that kind of drive away from me. But I look at like some of my lists, like my 360 list and my PS2 list, they're still the biggest lists of games that I want to get. However, a lot of them are sequel games now. So I'm gonna completely ignore that now. That's why I'm trying to make such a big dent in my games. So when I visit Retro Games HQ this coming Saturday, it's now Tuesday as I'm filming the video. So that's the whole point of the whole Dreamcast or Sega Saturn thing, because that's different. You know, it's not me going to buy sequels or get tempted with, you know, buying them because they're there. It's more of a, because I'm choosing that to get, then I'm going to be focusing on whichever console I choose to get and their games. So I'm not going to be tempted by the sequels. So, you know, I can kind of give myself that motivation to go, right, I'm going to wait, I'll play the original, and then I'll move on. Which is what I should have done with a lot of these games. And like some of these games I kind of have to because they're not readily available. So for example, stuff like Donkey Kong Country, which I'm still playing at the moment. And like I haven't picked up the second one or the third one yet because they're quite harder to find. So like in some respects the sequel games are like easier for me to acquire. So like the BioShocks, obviously they're like, you know, less than £2 a piece. And I think I spent like £150 each on all three. £150 each on all three BioShocks. And Mass Effect was pretty much the same. And well, the sequels, obviously with the Resident Evils and the Final Fantasies, it was a bit more. But again, you know, that's the point as well. Is it does cost. You know, I want to be happy to pay that cost for a sequel that, you know, that I am going to be playing because I've beaten the first one. Not going, oh, it's there and it's caught my eye and I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to buy it. But yeah, I think sequel games is my biggest gaming regret. Just picking them up over and over again and just not giving myself that opportunity to do it. And I suppose the other gaming regret I have is, I don't know. I thought I was thinking of something, but I've completely lost it now. I don't know. I'm just going blank. But anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this short little explanation, I guess, of my gaming regrets. Looking back, I definitely would have not bought any of the sequel game, any of the more expensive ones. Because I've always said, like, the thing with the cheap ones are they're never going to go up in price, like, exponentially. So, like, the BioShocks, like, obviously, even though they had the remaster collection come out on PS4 and that, it's like, the originals are still only £1.50, etc. So it's like, that's a motivation to buy them, just because they're really cheap. But at the same time, I should have still held back and said, you know, no, don't, until you've played it, do not do it, because I'm trying to think if there's an example of a game that I've bought where, or like a game in a series where I've then gone, oh, I shouldn't have bought the whole series. But I don't think that's happened, so that's a good sign. But yeah, guys, that's it from me. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe down below with notifications turned on for my latest uploads. We are 1 subscriber away from 100 subscribers. So please, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything, and you know, I'm planning on making bigger and better content as time goes on. I'm sure you're all bored of just sitting here watching me sitting here in front of my games, just rambling from time to time. But yeah, thank you to Danny for doing the community challenge. You're really cool, bro. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing. Enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. And as always, take care of yourselves.